recently made a Christmas post-apocalyptic short film as part of an intense 72 hours filmmaking challenge. It was a whirlwind of creativity and chaos, but incredibly rewarding. So today, I want to take you behind the scene of how I lit the final sequence of the film. This part was particularly meaningful to me because it ties the whole story together. The last sequence takes place inside an old garage, serving as the protagonist's shelters. My goal was to create a consistent look across all the frame while conveying a sense of hope, love, and Christmas magic, even in a world that's falling apart. Lighting this scene was both challenging and rewarding, as I had to balance the cold, desolate feel of the post-apocalyptic world with the warm, comforting glow of Christmas. So let me show you how I brought this vision to life. Let's talk about the location. We were lucky enough to get access to this all-private garage, and it was a game changer. The best part, no time limitation, no restriction. We had the freedom to work as we needed. The space itself was perfect for what we envisioned. It was large enough to position lights exactly where I wanted, to giving the flexibility to shape the scene. But the highlight of this garage, a beautiful diffused window on one side. And you know what that means? It was a perfect excuse to blast a big fat light from outside to simulate natural light pouring in it. That window became the key feature of the setup, giving the scene that soft, atmospheric glow while maintaining the story's consistent look. Before diving into the breakdown, let's talk about the gear used. For the whole scene, we shot everything with the FX3, combined with the Helios 44 too. I decided to end with this lens to have a nice soft look, and because I have a cine model version, it will create some light leak. Of course, if we didn't add that much space, I would have used a wider lens for the wide shots, but in this case and situation, we just had to step back to shot it. In terms of lights, we got a GVM 600, two 200B, one Pavotube and a 60X. So the whole setup starts from there. To help me on set and be faster, I created a light plan. Light plans are definitely a time saver. This technique not only brought the space to life, but it also helped me to balance the contrast between the cold, desolated environment and the warmth we needed inside to reflect the story's theme of hope and love. Now, let's start with the first light, the backlight. This was the most important element in creating the mood for the scene. I placed the light outside the eye window to simulate moonlight streaming in from the exterior. The idea was to replicate the natural, cold glow, subtle but impactful, setting the tone for the post-apocalyptic world, and create a real contrast with the interior. I'm still trying to figure out about how I'm going to put this 600. I don't know if I'm keeping the reflector going through the window, but it's creating a big spotlight inside. Really not that much like a night. So maybe I'm going to add some barn door just to really close the spill out, and I'm going to try both, and we will see in the final result how it's going to be. I didn't add any diffusion because the window was already really opaque, so naturally softened. Like that, it mimics the look of the moonlight filtered through the window's frosted glass. This not only gave us the scene a natural feel, but it also helped me highlight the character and set piece inside the garage. The angle was crucial here. I positioned the light high enough to mix the moon's natural trajectory, casting soft shadows that added depth and radiance to the scene. This also served as the base layer for the overall lighting, providing the cold exterior feel that contrasts beautifully with the warmer interior lights. But to separate even more the subjects from the background, I added another light. So what I'm going to try here is to put this 100D as a background light, simulating the moonlight that we put with the 600, just to add some depth in the frame, to create really some, more layer in the frame. Alright, let's talk about the key light. For this scene, I wanted the candles to feel like the primary source of light, providing a warm, intimate atmosphere. But there is a challenge. Candles alone don't give enough light to properly illuminate the subject, especially in a low light setting like this. To solve this, I use a small 60X as a key light, carefully motivated by the candles. The idea was to amplify the candlelight's effect while making it look natural and seamless. Do you remember my previous video about candle? Go check it. I positioned the Keylight low and close to the candles, replicating the angle and direction of the flame's lights. I kept the intensity subtle and I added a slight flicker effect to mimic the natural movement of real candles. This way, the light felt authentic while highlighting the character face and the important detail in the frame. The Keylight became the heart of the setup. I didn't just illuminate the subjects, I set the tone for the entire sequence, creating a sense of warmth and hope that contrasts beautifully with the colder, harsher light from the window. And to wrap up the whole setup, the chief kiss. Let's talk about the fill lights. For this scene, I use a Pavotube, placed just above the actors and out of the frame. The purpose of this light was threefold. First, to enhance the light from the background, create a subtle air light, and of course, lift some of the deeper shadow of the subject. The placement was key here. By positioning the Pavotube above and slightly behind the actor, I was able to create a soft stream of light along the edge of the silhouettes. This helped separate even more the subject from the background, giving the frame more depth and dimension. At the same time, the Pavotube provides just enough light to fill in some of the harsher shadow of the actor's face and shoulder, softening the overall look, while maintaining the moody, post-apocalyptic tone of the scene. The Pavotube was a great choice because it's lightweight, easy to position and to move. It provides a consistent diffusion glow that blends perfectly with the other light source. This fill light didn't overpower the Keylight or the background, it worked in harmony to add subtle detail and polish to the scene. One of the biggest challenges in a project like this is to balance creativity with efficiency, especially under a tight 72 hours timeline. To save time and maintain visual consistency through the whole sequence, I use the same basic lighting setup across all the scenes in the garage. The Keylight, motivated by the candle, remains the same position for almost every shot. I just had to tweak it during few sequences, but that's it. This ensures the warm, intimate feel that stays consistent through the sequence. The background light outside the eye window continued to provide that cold, moonlight glow, giving the space a sense of continuity and anchoring the desolate post-apocalyptic tone. And finally, the fill light. With the Pavotube above the actors, it was carefully adjusted between shots to lift shadow and their depth without disrupting the world mood. By sticking with this setup, I was able to work quickly while preserving the cohesive look and feel of the scene. This approach not only saved me time, but also made the post-production process much more smoother with the grading. When you are working under pressure, having a reliable setup that you can tweak slightly for different angle or shot is a huge advantage. It keeps the lighting natural and seamless, ensuring that every frame felt like it belonged to the same world. And that's how I lead the final sequence of this post-apocalyptic short film. And I hope this breakdown gives you some inspiration or any help for your own projects, whether you are working on a tight schedule or small budget or just trying to achieve a specific look. If you have any question about the process, gear or the film itself, drop them in the comments. I will do my best to give you the answer you need. And of course, if you haven't seen the short film yet, well, what are you waiting for? Just check it out on my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, keep creating, keep experimenting, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao!